nowadays, I think if someone's got a particular body in mind, there's two things you can do. You can either push the aesthetic aside and say, I'm just going to embrace what makes me happy. I'm going to train the way that gives me fulfillment and makes me enjoy my training.
Right.
And your body will just follow suit and it will adapt to look that way.
Okay.
Or you can say, I want to look this way. And then you have to try and think what functions create that type of body.
Right, I see.
Does that make sense?
So it's not just about lifting weight, essentially.
No.
Is this what you're getting at?
Yeah. Like say, for example, if there, a lot of girls, they say they want more toned arms. It's quite a general thing, or even booty or whatever they want.
I get that all the time with
they say, I want more toned arms. So you could say to them, okay, then pick something that has a martial art that has a lot of punching in it, or rock climbing, or calisthenics. These things are naturally going to give you that tone and strength and the function behind it, instead of just the aesthetic that you'll get by doing bicep curl.
Hello and welcome to Foundations with Ola. I'm here with my lovely guest, Riki Warren. He was here last time. We had a very, very lovely conversation where I got to learn quite a lot of new things. I always think I know so much, but then you speak to somebody and like, okay, I can learn something new. So I'm glad that he's agreed to come back and speak to us today. And we're going to speak to him about some other topics that we didn't get to speak on last time. So welcome again.
Thanks, brother.
Riki. It's good to
Always
see you
a pleasure,
again.
man. Anytime.
And I'll leave the floor to you to maybe perhaps tell the audience about you and a bit what you've been up to since the last time I spoke to you, please.
So something I touched on a lot last time was my age. Like I'm 40 years old. I've been training 33 years. Started with martial arts. Still do that, but moved into lifting, calisthenics, yoga. So I had a pretty varied life. Got a world record on the Olympic rings. And I'm a coach, teach all of those things, plus I do manual therapy, physio rehab, that kind of stuff as well. So I think last time we spoke a lot about my past experiences, my training, what I think about different training methods and stuff. And I think today we've got some really interesting topics to cover that a lot more people might find more generically interesting. I'm looking forward to the chat, yeah.
Awesome. And in terms of your training, what would you say is, what are you focusing on at the moment? You personally, yourself, are you focusing on building, performance, strength?
Yeah, I think at the moment, I just want to stay consistent and keep myself at a good level of strength. But I think something I neglected a little bit for a while was cardio.
Oh, okay.
So I cycle 10K a day. Okay. But it's not sustained effort and it's not that hard. But since I started regularly sparring in Muay Thai, maybe 3 years ago, I started doing it more than 2-3 times a week. That the cardio demands of that are high. So I realized, like, if you're a strength athlete and you do heavy squats, you do pull-ups, calisthenics, all of that stuff, it's not really training your heart that much to sustain the amount of energy you need to carry that muscle as well. Inspiring is hard. So like, I'm kind of inspired that I feel a lot more fit and healthy when I keep up a cardio program alongside that. So the running basically helps a lot. So I'm keeping that up. That's different.
And when you say running, you mean like road running? Are you doing on the treadmill? Are you doing like shorts? Are you doing intervals? Or
yeah, I generally do like 5Ks.
Okay.
I don't know if that's considered short or long. I think it's short. But anything longer than that, I think is becoming a bit more specialist in endurance. And I don't want to adapt my muscle too much towards type 1 slow twitch. I want to keep that fast twitch, explosive power. Yeah. But I want to work my heart as well. And like I say, when you're cycling, I don't think, because of the traffic lights and everything else, you can't get that sustained motion on the bike, of course, for long enough to keep your heart rate up, and you're sitting down. And so you're not really carrying your muscle, if that makes sense. When I'm jogging, I feel like, when you go down the stairs. Yeah. And you must feel it a lot when you feel your pecs go up and down like this, you know what I mean? That's true. Yeah, so you can feel the muscle bouncing on your body and you got to carry that, so.
You're fine. Feel the pecs. Yeah. People tell me about twitching my pecs all the time. Yeah. But, no, I do see what you're saying in terms of the cardio. So you can't neglect it, man. You see so many people in the gym in the weight section and all they did, and then they can't even run for the bar. So it's like it's just too much demand on their heart, and you know you're pumping all this blood to all these different muscles, but you don't actually specifically train the heart. So I see
What do
that.
you do? Do
In
you do
terms of
cardio?
me, yeah, I tend to play football on Thursday
Ah,
evening.
okay.
So playing football means I'm covering all the different like sprints, and you know
Yes.
you have to run for quite a while, so you need a good aerobic base as well. And nowadays I've realized I'm not really training as much cardio like I used to do on the treadmills, but it's something that is always phases. There's times when you're more focused towards hypertrophy and strength, and then there's times when I'm sort of like in between, and there's times when I'm doing more cardio.
There's something interesting I read recently. So, as you said, there's different types of things going on. There's aerobic, anaerobic, because you got sprints and other
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
which is anaerobic.
Mm.
So what I found was obviously fighting as well is anaerobic because it's a lot of explosive muscular work in short periods.
Yeah, yeah.
But why do we need cardio? I read is because that's what helps you recover between rounds.
Absolutely.
So it's what helps bring your heart rate down is
Mm.
having good cardio.
Yeah.
So people think, oh, I could just do HIIT and then I'd be good at football and I'd be good at Muay Thai. Yeah, you would be good at that.
Mm.
But in order to bring your heart rate down so you can reset, you need good cardio baseline. So yeah, it was
That is really, really important. No, it's great. I think everyone should definitely be having, I mean, it's the most important muscle in the body, as they say, right? It's what powers you, your heart.
yeah.
So definitely important. So guys, please out there, if you're not doing cardio, I know you're doing is weight, get yourself into the cardio section as well, man. It'll be great for you. And I know when I was speaking to you as well, you were saying things about functionality. Can you please tell us a little bit
Mm,
more about that? When you say functionality is king, what do you mean?
yeah. So well, I think one of the things we picked up last time was that remember we were talking about the nervous system
Right.
and how that remains in terms of the grooving that happens when we pick up new experiences or skills, but our body conditioning changes. So whatever our function is, and what I mean by that is whatever daily or repetitive stresses we put on our body adapts towards that and gets conditioned towards that.
Mm.
So in a way, you can try to build yourself aesthetically as you want, but your function will determine your shape in the end,
Right.
right?
I
So
see.
like one example could be I can build as bigger legs as I want through bodybuilding, but when I'm doing calisthenics, that's not going to help me. It's going to create a much bigger demand on the upper body to carry those legs.
Right.
So then it's going to change my shape.
Mm.
So it's like, in a way, it's like you can adapt yourself towards your function on purpose by reducing the size of your legs.
Right. I
Or
see.
you can do what you want to look the way you are, but then you're not going to be as functional as you could be.
I see.
So that's what I mean. It's like,
Okay.
but then again, I think a lot of people nowadays, they approach fitness. They say to themselves, okay, I want to get fit. I want to look lean. I want to look this. And I used to tell people, show me what you want to look like. And they show, and you'd be quite surprised. People's taste is, people's taste is very different.
Mm.
So what you think might look good on your client, they don't want that. They want something else. They say, I want to look like this. And you're like, in your head, you're thinking, really? You want to look like that? Okay, fine. So then I think to myself, nowadays, I think if someone's got a particular body in mind, there's two things you can do. You can either push the aesthetic aside and say, I'm just going to embrace what makes me happy. I'm going to train the way that gives me fulfillment and makes me enjoy my training.
Right.
And your body will just follow suit and it will adapt to look that way.
Okay.
Or you can say, I want to look this way. And then you have to try and think what functions create that type of body.
Right. I see.
Does that make sense?
So it's not just about lifting weight, essentially.
No.
Is this what you're getting at?
Yeah. Like say,
Okay.
for example, if a lot of girls, they say they want more toned arms.
Mm.
It's quite a general thing, or even booty or whatever they
I
want.
get
Right?
that all the time with
They
the
say, I
arms.
want more toned arms. So you could say to them, okay, then pick something that has a martial art that has a lot of punching in it, or rock climbing, or calisthenics. These things are naturally going to give you that tone and strength and the function behind it,
Yeah.
instead of just the aesthetic that you'll get by doing bicep curls. You know what I mean? So, and I think because they're based on skills, they're more addictive, for want of a better word, in terms of getting you to enjoy doing it and not see it as a chore.
Yeah.
And see it as something that you can buy into and build on,
I get you. For you, when would you, is this something that's always been your case, or did you one day realize functionality and stuff is something that where it's at for you rather than just, as you said, doing the reps in the gym?
No, yeah, I was always interested in the function. Like, but I think it's because I started with judo when I was young.
Okay.
So when I was 7 years old, when you're that age, you don't really think about how you look. I remember watching Bruce Lee movies, and there was one scene in I think it was in Enter the Dragon. I think Chuck Norris maybe came in the room, and Bruce Lee just stuck his foot up like this.
Oh yeah.
Like, wow, like this, and he just held it in the air, right?
Yeah.
And he held it in the air, and I was like, I want to do that. So I used to try and hold my leg on my dresser,
Okay.
on my clothes dresser, and then lift my leg off it and hold it in the air.
Mm.
And so I was just obsessed with trying to learn that skill. And then obviously some of the adaptation would have happened in my body from that.
Yeah.
And as I started training more, my body adapted towards what I was doing, but it was never my focus. How do I look? Until I got to my teens. Then I kind of thought, I want some bigger arms. And then I started doing weights.
Mm.
But then those bigger arms slow you down in boxing or whatever else, because
But then you look good, man. They come to you and start filling your biceps.
yeah, it's true. So if your function is pulling, if you're trying to pick up women or whatever, then yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. One of the main reasons I go in the gym was, the girls used to come and touch my abs. I don't know if I mentioned it last time, and this is a good thing. Then I'll go into the gym and start lifting even more.
It's still a function, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. It's true, because a lot of people would be like, "Well, I just want to look good," and a lot of people that do go to the gym, their main reason is aesthetics, and they just want to build muscle. So I guess you're saying, well, from what I'm hearing, it sounds like you're saying you can still get that, but doing something that you actually really enjoy.
You can, definitely.
Okay.
The biggest I've ever been in my upper body was when I was in my peak in calisthenics. And I got massive off that, just off doing, because you're carrying your whole body. So, but you're different like that, because I would say you do bodybuilding, or you have done it, but you're also very functional. So like I said, I respect you because you're one of the only people that I know that has a bodybuilder's physique, but you're functionally very, very strong. And I wouldn't expect that looking at you if I didn't know you.
Yeah.
Because when I look at other bodybuilders, I think to myself, I don't think you're functionally strong or mobile. You just look big. You know what I mean? Majority of them.
Yeah, it's funny. I was in the gym training the other day, and there was a guy. He was doing this Cali stuff, and he was doing the livers and the back liver. I was like, yeah, let me do one with you so we can record and post it together.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, yeah, you don't look like a Cali guy. I was like, yeah, I mean, I don't look like, yeah, it's like, I don't look like it. But I think, again, it's just, as you said, functionality is important. It's good to have muscle, but be able to also express yourself. And there's so many things that happen in the background as well, as you know, that is going on when you're doing all the Cali. Your brain has to be very, very involved. You have to think about proprioception, all the different muscles, where they are. So would you say this is something that you tell some of your clients as well, talking about the internal ongoings as well? Do you train them on that sense?
Yeah, for sure. Calisthenics in particular is very much like that, because it's same with yoga. It's something where when you're controlling your body shape, you can't. So you said back lever. You did the back lever with the guy. I always say this to my clients and students when I teach them, that when you go in the back lever, how do you know you're straight? How do you know you're parallel to the ground? Because you can't see yourself when you're in that position. It's that from observing your videos and from practicing over time, it's like your vestibular system, your balance. You understand where level is and where level isn't, because your body gets used to that position. So in that way, it's a very internal thing. It's about listening to the senses in your body that, maintain your understanding of balance. And I think that's probably the main thing. It is the vestibular system.
Yeah.
It's your balance from in your ears, and it's your, touch, sensitivity towards gravity and direction and stuff like that. First time you ever went upside down, you don't know where the hell you are. And then after some time, you learn how to look, and you get used to being upside down.
Yeah, because I speak to people at the gym that want to do handstand. They're just so afraid. They're like, what's going to happen to me if I go upside down? I'm like, don't worry, man. You're going to adapt to it. You'll be fine and stuff. But some people never try because they're just afraid they're going to bump their head or what's going to happen.
Having said, that's a good point, yeah. I remember I met you 10 years ago or so, but I've been doing handstands since I was young. Let's say 25 years of going upside down on my hands. But I saw you in the gym using the moon boots hanging from the thing.
Is that what you call them?
Yeah,
the gravity boots.
The gravity boots.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you're hanging upside down, using the hooks on your boots on the bar, decompressing your spine. I wanted to try it. The first time I did it, I was scared.
Okay, I see.
Even not scared, but I was like, because even though I've been upside down for 25 years in a handstand, that was a different type of upside down. It was hanging from my feet, and still I was a bit like, oh, this feels weird.
Wait, I think I did. Yeah, I think I remember giving you the boot. So I did
you
not
introduced
really
that to me. Yeah, I've never used it before.
Right,
so I saw you doing it. It inspired me to have a go.
I think it was my height, man. I always wanted to get taller. No, I'm joking. I knew it was the compression. So that's what I've been using for like more than 10 years. But it didn't work, clearly, as you can see. So
it might have done. You might have ended up shorter still. So.
Fine. I'll get you that. Talk about training. I think one of your main points as well was talking about how men in general, or we need to train more. And I remember you saying from the last time you were speaking to us about, how to control yourself when you're going through quite a lot. Why is it, in your opinion, that you say men need to work out more than ever?
Yeah, so I mean, I think in this day and age, a lot of people get stick for talking about what men need exclusively.
Right.
But at the same time, a lot of people talk about what women need exclusively. So I'm not saying that women don't need it. They do. Right. But I am a voice for other men as well. And I think men's circles are just as important as women's circles. And if we're going to heal ourselves as a collective group of males, then we also need to have time together and to learn what we need as males.
Yeah.
Because the needs are different. It's biological, right? It's not about equal pay and stuff. I'm talking about biological differences in our hormones and other things. So the men experience far more adrenaline and cortisol on a daily basis. There's a scientifically proven. I've been reading some articles on that as well recently. When you're walking through the street, we are wired primarily to look for danger. And it falls to us to feel ready to tackle that danger. So say if you're walking around with your mum, there's a part of your subconscious that is geared towards protecting her, and you're surveying the scene for threats.
Right.
Whereas the women don't naturally do that. They don't survey the scene for threats that they might have to deal with. That's why a lot of the time they're happy-go-lucky walking along.
So wait, what you're saying
less spatial awareness.
Unconsciously, let's say I was walking with my girlfriend or my mother, like naturally there's a subconscious part of my brain that's actually observing for element.
Yeah, observing for threats and feeling protective because that's our nature.
Okay.
So that raises your cortisol. So just being out in public, it raises our cortisol. And then think about the interactions you've had with, I'll say strange males in the sense that they're strangers.
Yeah.
Even on the way here, I cycled here, and on the way, even outside when I came into the block, there was a guy there, and then you lock eyes with someone and you don't know them. And like, there's just this moment where you're kind of like looking at each other, and there's like you're trying to feel each other out. Like, is this person a threat to me or not? And it shouldn't be like that, but it just is. That's just natural between men. So when I see people, I just try to keep a neutral face and make sure I'm not frowning or something. And then I'll give a little acknowledgement to try and break the ice. But majority of men, they look at each other and they check each other out in that way. They're trying to size each other up, and it's very subconscious, but it's happening. So this kind of constant threat that we perceive to be out there because the world is dangerous, it raises our cortisol levels a lot. So we need a practice as males to overcome that high levels of cortisol and adrenaline that we experience on a daily basis. And I'm saying that gym is one of the biggest and best ways to overcome those hormone spikes, because it brings us back into regulated mode. It's a very good way of regulating ourselves. So we was also talking testosterone, right? So testosterone is the competitive hormone, if you like. It's what causes aggression. And women have testosterone too, but not in the amounts that men do. So this is what is happening to us. Cortisol, adrenaline, and testosterone. It's all about how we manage conflict in our lives. And gym provides us an outlet. It provides us a regulation opportunity, and it provides us a way to rewire our systems as well, so that we can get some kind of pleasure or satisfaction or fulfillment and reward from persevering and putting in effort.
Can I ask, would you say, can you think of any time at some point where you've had to, in your experience, when you've had to sort of like control yourself, you know, where you would say this has been a benefit where you didn't flip out? Because I mean, from my experience, there's been times when when maybe I was younger, and then over time training as well has helped with all the things that you're saying. Can you think of any specific moment where that's helped to manage a situation for you?
Yeah. In fact, one very recently. So it still stings a bit in my brain, this one, but I'm going to say it because I'm a very open person. I believe that communication is important and we share these experiences with each other. So I was in Thailand and I was training at the normal gym I train at. I know majority of the trainers there. They're my friends. You know, I've been there for a long time. I've fought for that gym. And I went in there and there was a new trainer there. And in the group sessions, you don't really choose which trainer you get. You just get given one to do pads with you. The first time I went with him, he was stabbing me with really sharp, pointy knees into my ribs and hitting me quite hard during the pads. And they're supposed to hit you a little bit to make sure your guard is up and stuff. But I know what I'm experienced. I've done 12 years Muay Thai. I know what you're not supposed to hit with the point. In training, you hit with the inside of the thigh and soften the blow and stuff. He was stabbing them knees into me, and I thought, this guy's trying to hurt me. I can feel the power. It's a bit excessive.
Yeah.
But I thought, whatever. And then in between something I was doing, he did an uppercut like this with the edge of the pad into my mouth, and it made my lip cut on my tooth.
Okay.
And I was like, I looked at him, and he just smiled, and I thought to myself, I don't know. I'm going to give him benefit of the doubt, but I think he's being a bit aggressive. It's unneeded, but whatever. I got through my 5 rounds and I went home. Then I came back next day and I got given him again. And I thought, I don't like this guy for some reason. I don't like him.
I mean, bust your lip, of course.
Yeah, but you know, I just felt not a good energy.
Yeah.
I thought, this guy's not a nice person. He's not being nice. And I'm not there for a fight camp. I'm just training in a group class. I've paid my money and you're treating me. But anyway. So we started doing the pads and he just looks bored. He's looking around while he's doing the pads. And I was like, this guy just doesn't really care. He's not he's not involved. And then I did one knee and he wasn't holding the pad properly. So it went up a little bit like this. It may have clipped him a little bit. He threw the hardest left hook he could with the edge of the pad. Again, you're supposed to hit with the soft. He hit with the edge right on my chin and spun my jaw like this really hard. And I felt the intention, yeah. I looked at him and I went like this, yeah. And he looked at me, got this, like put your guard up, like this, as if, and I was like, you know what? I just looked at him and I went, I walked away.
Yeah.
But in that moment, I would have liked nothing more. And you know, you fantasize about this afterwards.
Yeah.
I should have picked him up, suplex him to the ground, put him in an arm bar, slap his elbow and say, let's see you do that again with this elbow. Because you do Muay Thai, you know nothing about wrestling, but this is my ego talking. This is, I felt violated. I felt like I want to snap his arm. But where's that going to get me? In Thai prison. You know what I mean? I don't want to go there.
Yeah, I love it.
So I had to walk away from it.
Yeah.
And I was angry because I was like, this guy's smaller than me. He's young. He's like 23 years old or something. I'm a 40-year-old man. You're not respecting me.
Yeah.
And I'm a client, you know, everything else. I went to one of my regular trainers. I said, who's that guy over there? Has he just hit me? Da, 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 da. And I showed him, I had a video of it. And I showed him. He said, try not to worry. Go and tell the main reception, you know, the manager. So I went to the manager and just showed her the video and said, listen, this is excessive. Look what he did. And I showed the video. She said, I'll talk to him. Now I left. And then like, I was just pissed off about it, you know. I got angry about it. But because I controlled myself, I made sure that my response was not excessive. Yeah. Because it could have been.
Yeah, I get it.
And then, you know, let karma deal with him in the end. But it still stings me a little bit to this, because only about a month ago, it still stings me a bit in my pride that this guy thinks he can go around like intentionally hurting people without any recompense or, you know?
No, I get you. I think this is what you're saying about men needing to be in the gyms and that, because that could be somebody else and that would have ended up a different way, that as in learn how to manage all the different things that's happening internally, as we were saying.
Exactly.
So I was watching a video earlier about emotional control, and somebody was poking somebody, and it's like you have to, as much as you want to do it, it's like just have to learn how to control. What you're saying is the adrenaline and all the different things. So you have to learn how to bring things on and not let it.
That's it. So it was spiraling. My hormones went vroom, right? There was anger, there was adrenaline, there was cortisol, stress, there was testosterone, all of it. All of it came at once. And I was just like in fight mode.
Yeah.
But at the same time, my higher self, my consciousness, my inner voice, it said, don't react to this. You cannot react to this. It's not worth the consequences if you go wild out and do something out of character and be a slave to your emotions.
Yeah.
So as much as my pride hurt, I had to swallow it. And I had to think about, I don't want to bring problem to this gym. I don't want to have a personal problem. I don't want to have a problem with authorities after this. It's better for me to just walk away from this guy. And even though it meant I missed out on a couple of rounds of pads, which I'd paid for as well, it's better for me and my mental health that I walk away from that situation.
Absolutely.
And it was hard to do.
No, I get you.
But
it's tough.
And like I said, if I hadn't done the training that I've done and been through what I've been through, then my response would have probably been different if I was 20 years old.
Different outcome.
So different outcome,
It's interesting. You see how when I was younger, I used to go gym all the time, maybe being stressed and when things were not as good as they are right now. And it used to be a lot about people go to the gym all the time to deal with stress. Maybe I was going to talk to you about this. Do you think it's a good idea? Actually, not. Because I found often when I did go to the gym, so then you feel great about stuff. But then at the same time, let's say I don't have like the job that I want, or I'm not making the money, but I'm going gym all the time. It makes you feel good about the situation. But then wouldn't I rather feel shitty about the situation and do something about it? I'm just trying to see, is there something about going to the gym too much whereby it makes you then not look at your problems that you actually have? I don't know if you've ever had
I like
this thought
escapism
before.
you're talking about.
It's almost like that in a way, because I realize as much as it can help to manage stress and manage how you feel and feeling better about yourself, but then my situation hasn't changed. So I was in a weird situation at some point.
No, this is a really good point. I can attack that in different ways. So let's first of all, when we go to the gym, we're doing something positive that has its own result. It doesn't necessarily need to fix my problems outside the gym. It needs to bring me into a place where I'm more capable to fix my problems outside of the gym. That's like meditation. Meditation is not going to fix your issues. It's just going to help you come to a place where you're better suited and better placed to fix your issues. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So the gym is giving you that release. It's helping you regulate your emotions and hormones. It's helping you bring your base level down. It's the endorphins that get released, the slow reward dopamine, the strengthening and refining of your body so that you feel confident and healthy. These are all benefits that come just from doing that by itself. And when you feel healthy, when you feel alert, when you feel strong, when you don't feel insecure because you feel confident, this is when you start coming into your own and start creating better outcomes for yourself outside the gym. So I think the gym by itself doesn't have to fix your issues outside the gym, but it does help you prepare yourself for issues outside the gym. But then that brings us on nicely to the escapism. So a lot of people take drugs. That can even be alcohol. Alcohol's a drug. Nobody wants to accept that because you take it so regularly in the West and it's legalized and whatever else. So many people drink, but there's a fine line between recreational use of something for fun and using it to escape your problems. So drinking alcohol doesn't help you fix your issues either. But at the same time, doesn't do much good for your body either. Right? So we can distinguish that between gym. But the thing about dopamine, so like a lot of these things that we do for escapism, we take an external substance. It can even be sugar. So we take a sugar, we take drugs, alcohol, whatever. And this gives us a momentary escape from our reality. It might help you feel different to how you normally feel. But the important thing to remember is that it's an external thing. So you didn't create that change in yourself. An external thing did. That creates reliance, dependence, which is never a good thing because then you're not self-dependent. And then the second thing that happens is it trains you to get a dopamine release from something that you just had to take. It's like, I can simply put this in my body and now I feel big release of dopamine or whatever else, right?
Yeah.
But the natural dopamine system, it happens when it's like a reward chemical that happens when we feel fulfilled by actions that we have done that have succeeded.
Mm-hmm.
So when you've got these micro goals in the gym or these little, objectives that we're trying to achieve,
Yeah.
and you start ticking them off, that naturally releases dopamine in the brain slowly.
Yeah.
It drip feeds it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we get used to that, we understand that my effort equals reward, which is a natural way of keeping you feeling uplifted and good.
Mm-hmm.
But when you take external things for that, you give all your power away to the drugs, to the alcohol, to the sugar. You give your power of feeling good away to an external thing.
Yeah.
And because it's so readily available, we choose that easy way out, that instant gratification instead of the delayed gratification.
Yeah.
But that's the danger, because then you're messing with your brain chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
And in the long term, that also affects your ability to deal with problems, because it's like, I'll rather than deal with this problem and work for my dopamine, I'd rather take this drug or whatever. See what I mean?
Yeah.
So gym in that sense is a slow reward dopamine thing, which is very positive.
Yeah.
Plus it has so many other benefits to the body and the mind that it doesn't really need to specifically, directly help us with those problems outside.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I was just thinking, how you were saying as well, is let's say you're in a relationship that's a bit mad or whatever, and you're very good at regulating your emotion because you go to the gym all the time, you can go there, hit the pad, and then bam. But then, I don't know, I just have all these thoughts sometimes whereby it's almost like if I want to get rid of this, but then that stress is gone. But the issue we're not really sorting out, because now it's like, well, I feel better now. And then it's like almost like this person, I just have a way of thinking whereby I don't want someone sometimes not feeling better about something, and tackling your issue might be actually be a good thing, because I do know the gym can. I just know that a lot of the times when I was younger and it's like I'm still feeling good in my element, it wasn't always helping me to. Whereas if I was like sometimes it's safe for someone to actually fully change, they need to go right down to zero, and then they need to build themselves back up. So again, I thought I was just seeing if you've had that thought before, because I just look at it, I think in the past is probably being a thing where maybe that's why they say too much of anything is not really good, because I was going to the gyms, like some people spend all their time in the gym rather than actually doing the things they need to do to move their life
forward. I mean, then that's a bit more extreme, where we're saying that person is using it as a distraction.
Yeah.
So if you're not actually attending to your issues outside the gym, and you're just obsessively training, then you could say you're using that as a distraction. But at the same time, if you do a good gym session, I do think in the end, over long-term use, it's going to help change your brain chemistry and help you come into a place where you could tackle your problems.
Yeah.
Because evidently you've been keeping up the gym.
Yeah.
And I hope by now you have tackled those problems.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just thinking back in the day, younger days. Yeah, I think it's a net positive. At the same time, there were times where I just have thoughts where am I training too much and not really doing things I need to do. So it's almost like, how we can advise people go to the gym all the time.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have to still make sure you're handling business outside the gym
100%.
as much as might make you feel good.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about the dopamine. I think you said something about resetting the dopamine system. Let's say someone has really messed up their dopamine system somehow. How would somebody go about resetting it?
So like I said, is you would have to first, you'd have to cut or severely limit the external sources that you're using. So if you're using sugar, if you're using alcohol, whatever, first thing is to get that under control. And then then what you're going to have is a crash, because you're not going to have the same amount of dopamine coming into your body from your brain. So then you're going to have to learn how to create it by doing progressive tasks that feel rewarding to you.
Yeah.
So that's how you kind of redirect yourself towards healthier ways of creating that in your system than using an external thing. But I think for each person that's going to be different, isn't it? So, and especially if you go into the realm of addicts, then that's a completely different science, which I'm not really qualified to talk about it because I'm not a therapist in that sense, you know what I mean? So, but that definitely is something they focus on a lot, is, you know, like reducing the dependence at the same time as giving people something else to do. So I did see a video actually on Instagram recently where they said people that have dealt with different drugs or whatever, they need to replace those dependencies with something else that's constructive. You know what I mean? So he was saying that if you use psychedelics,
of course,
like a LSD, mushrooms or something, then you need to pick something creative to work on that can slow release and build that sense of reward, rather than the escapism using the drugs.
Right.
Put aside the medicinal benefits of those things that are being researched and everything else. Then if you use marijuana, it might be that you need to do something else. If you use alcohol, something else. So he was just suggesting that you can use different disciplines or different outlets to create the same stimulation that you're looking for when you're taking these certain types of drugs, you know?
When you say reset the dopamine, is there something about the dopamine? Is it like they're not producing enough dopamine or too much dopamine, or is it like the quality of the dopamine? What do you mean?
It's about how your body gets used to it coming into the system. So we could compare this to steroids. So typically, because there's lots of types of steroids, there's anti-inflammatory steroids that they inject into you to when you've had an operation or something, right? So we're not talking about those. We're talking about like the anabolic type of steroids that a lot of bodybuilders or things have used. So what that does a lot of the time, that is putting external testosterone, synthetic hormones into your body. When your blood testosterone comes to a certain level, your body doesn't need to keep making it, which is why sometimes the balls will shrink or whatever else symptoms they get.
Yeah.
So in the same way, if you're putting external things into your body that just spike your dopamine system, or the sugar spikes your insulin, you stop making so much, and then you can't handle it when a normal amount comes. Does that make sense? So it's more about the balance of the hormones in the body and how much there is present at any one time. And it's not that we don't want dopamine. It's good for us. It's a reward system. It's what motivates us to do anything, dopamine. So the thought of even doing something productive today, like we woke up to do this, it helped us get out of bed. Because if we had nothing, it's harder to get out of bed, right? So we do need that dopamine, but we don't want it in such large spikes. And especially not from things that we don't have to work for, because then we're teaching ourselves that I don't need to work for a reward. I can simply just buy something and put it in my mouth, and then I'll feel happy. But it's false. It's an illusion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's amazing how that works. Where it's good when you work. I think it's even better. You get a better sense. Like when I used to play football on Saturdays, and it's like very, very hard. And then I'd come home and I'd go into like the very cold sort of like bath for like 30 minutes. And then the release of the dopamine that you get is like 2 times the amount or whatever. And it's just great because you just feel so good. It lasts so long as well. And after doing that, it's like you not only get the discipline, but you also get the feel good factor about it as well, rather than just buying chemicals. And then and again, the more you sort of like use it, I think you kind of like the more you use, the more you need to use, right, to get the same sort of feeling. So I think if somebody was to trying to stop, just try to get away from it or replace it with something else, basically. Cool.
Something productive and healthy.
Right. Hey, you were mentioning about using steroids as well. Talk to me about gym culture these days. What do you think of use of PEDs or other things? Because it just seems like it's very prevalent all over the place right now.
All of a sudden, right? So like we both older guys who work with this new generation, we're gonna call unks. But back in the day, I only remember like really serious bodybuilders would take steroids. No one else would really mess around with that. Nowadays, from what I know from people I've spoken to, there's a lot more people experimenting with this, especially younger people. And there's 2 things about that. One is I think they're doing that more because they're less willing to work for the results than our generation were. They're more entitled and they're more lazy in the sense of they want instant gratification more. Links back to the dopamine thing. It's like they need to develop healthy habits and not just find quick ways to get the results they want, right? But put that aside for a second. What do I think about PEDs themselves? I don't personally have anything against people using hormones to achieve a result. I do have something against people using them in a regulated environment where other people haven't had the same opportunity and competing. It's because you got unfair advantage.
Yeah.
So other than the unfair advantage angle in competition, I don't see anything wrong with them unless they pose a risk to your health. And that's not really an ethical thing. That's a personal choice. Just like alcohol. Alcohol is legal and everyone drinks it every weekend, whatever. They have the choice to do that and the right to choose. So in the same way, I think you should have the right to choose. If you want to inject yourself with something for your own performance or whatever, you should have the right to choose. But in a regulated competition environment, I don't think that's fair.
Of course.
So I think there should potentially be, what people have spoke about is having competitions that are open to performance enhancing users.
Yeah.
So that everyone's kind of on a more even playing field. Then we can see the real potential of the human that's been augmented.
I mean, that's
with...
where the Olympian is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But then there's also so many other types of things now, right? So you got the, what are they called, man?
Is it more the other type of PEDs equivalent that you use?
But what are they called? There's the new ones.
Oh wait,
I forget.
Is it the ones that people used to for the losing weight and stuff?
Yeah, there's different types that you can inject. I forget what they're called. Peptides.
Yeah.
There's peptides now, right? So there's these types of things, and then you got stem cells, all these different. So in a way, there's medical use of these things as well. So the line blurs. It's like, who's it appropriate for? Why is it appropriate? This is a good example. Why is it okay to give people morphine after surgery, but it's not okay for people to use heroin?
Right.
It's the same thing. It's opium, right? So it's opioid. So the pharmaceutical industry is allowed to sell morphine to hospitals to use in the name of medicinal use when somebody's had surgery. But heroin is completely banned and illegal because you can see what effect it has on people's lives. Of course. So I think there's a line there, is what's appropriate for use medicinally and what's appropriate for use recreationally. And I think steroids, if they're safe, or any of these things, peptides, steroids, any of these things, if they're safe enough to use without side effects that can severely damage your health, they should be left to the choice of the people to use them. Now, I personally, I've never have and never would use them because it's not really in my interest to chase gains that I haven't secured myself. It's part of my reward system and how I've built my brain is I don't want to cheat.
Yeah.
Like I don't want anything else to, I don't want to have to take something that's going to boost me that's not come from my own natural process. So I'm more of a natural person. If you like to say, natty, whatever you want to call it.
No, I get what you mean. I think I ask you from what I think. Of course, I think if it's something that's someone is monitoring, like a doctor is monitoring, and people want to use it so badly, again, it's a personal choice if you want to take it. I just think, again, it's always good to just do things and go naturally and as much as possible, because then that's one of the reasons why I would never take PEDs as well, because it's like, at which point is it me and which point is it the PEDs, or how much am I taking that's actually, how do I feel good about results that I don't feel like I'm 100% getting myself, if you know what I mean? So I think that's really one of the reasons. But then again, it's like you see a lot of people in the gym nowadays, some of them don't disclose it and they're coming lifting 500 kilograms. You're like, bro, how are you even doing that? It's like, how does it make people feel? People that are watching it, it's like, it's not like they share it with everybody.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff I see on Instagram, I'm like, how is this guy lifting 200 kg shoulder press? Or what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's comparison, isn't it? So when these people put that stuff out and they don't disclose, then people that are there's a natural tendency for people to compare on social media. That's a lot what happens, And I was having a chat with my friend the other day, actually, that not always we get the support that we expect from our friends or people close to us.
Yeah.
Because when you succeed in something and when you show up every day and when you're consistent and you get results, you are unknowingly holding up a mirror to other people. And sometimes you will expose to them their own lack of effort, or you will achieve what they wanted to also achieve but didn't do the necessary. And because you reflect that to them, it can make them feel uncomfortable. And so they won't support you in public. They will more consume and watch you privately.
Right.
It doesn't mean they're not inspired any less by you. It's that they almost can't bring themselves to acknowledge or admit that they're inspired by you.
Yeah.
Because that admittance will expose the fact that they didn't do what they could have, it live up to their own potential. You know what I mean? And that's a sad thing, because nobody's celebrating each other anymore. Everybody is subconsciously competing and comparing, you know what I mean? And in that kind of environment, it sets us up for a lot of hyper individuality and lack of community, which is another thing gym is important for, you know? So like having people you can be around that support you and you support them, and feeling that you're part of a bigger community with social beings, right? And also just, I think, in terms of remaining humble and self-aware. So like, I think a lot of people might look at something you do and say, you know, he doesn't deserve that. But it's out of some crooked way of looking at it. It's like, oh, they deserve it. They deserve to look like that. They deserve to be able to do those things, but you don't. And it's just coming from a place of insecurity where it's literally, I think it's really uncomfortable for people to have that mirror held up to them, because it's almost like you're holding them accountable for what they haven't done.
It's interesting you say that. I wonder if there's the way I see it, maybe there's a good thing to doing that as well sometimes, because it's like you give people a reality check.
Exactly.
I mean, you're living your life and doing what you need to do. You're showing up, you just said. And sometimes, because we feel this way, we often don't post enough because maybe somebody doesn't, you know, it makes people feel a certain way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the more people might see you doing all these things, it might make them think, wait, this guy is showing up all the time. Maybe it's just making me realize how much I'm not doing that I should be doing. Perhaps I should. It might be a source of motivation for the person to actually see that they are not really pushing themselves. Again, you say people are not celebrating. Yeah, it's part of like people are people. We do all sorts of things, and I'm always just looking at a different angle.
This is really good though, because what you're saying is that we need to believe in ourselves and do it anyway.
Yeah.
And I agree with that.
Keep pushing.
So we should just keep pushing and putting it out, and do it with integrity and genuinely with love and passion for what we do. And who cares if people are going to feel a type of way about that? That's their problem. But it is difficult to manage that when there's a lot of people behaving like that.
Yeah.
So all I'm trying to say is that social media has become more and more like that because of this comparison.
Yeah.
It's turning people into dark places in their mind, where they're looking at people on holiday all the time or whatever and comparing their own life at a time when they don't feel good to the best selected highlights that are filtered and everything else for somebody else's life. And it's not a real comparison, because you're not seeing that person's struggles. You're not seeing everything else they go through. So there's this kind of weird kind of hate that develops. It's like, this person's got it easy. They've got everything I deserve as well, but I can't have it because I've got these problems, and this person just gets everything they want. It's you just don't see that.
Yeah.
And for us, we've got to remember that staying in your own lane and not worrying too much about what other people think, and just staying genuine, that is also inspiring to people that have their head right. So people that do want to be inspired and see people being consistent,
I think
that's who we want to benefit from it.
I think it is important to show other side as well sometimes. You know, everyone's always showing the best part as well. I think I'm going to be posting more of my fails as well, because it just shows more of a balanced approach, because not a lot of people can see maybe the way you're seeing that, okay? Because some people just really, really get stuck in, oh my God, this guy's doing this. But everyone has bad days, and there's not always, you know, sunshine and roses and stuff. So
you've seen a lot of the most popular content on social. When somebody's achieved something great, often they put the failed attempts before it in the same video. And those videos
they do
take off because it's real.
Yeah,
Whereas
sure.
nobody just wants
It's
to see the
authentic.
trimmed, perfected version of you all the time. They want to see the struggle.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what makes you respect the goal, you know? So it's like, yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Would you say that's what you mean by when you mentioned to me about social media ruining everything? Is this part of the kind of things we were talking about, or was there something else you were
No,
referring to
yeah.
as well?
I mean, it's all hand in hand. Like, that must have sounded really crazy when I said that social media ruined everything, but it has its own benefits. There's a lot of good things about social media, but it's about the mass psychology of it, you know? So like, I don't use Instagram in a personal way. I use it as an online CV to show what I'm turning up every day doing, and to just show the level, and because I'm a coach, and it's like an online platform to show this is where I'm currently at, so people can see you're active. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
At the same time, I do consume some memes and other things that make me laugh.
Oh man,
But
so annoying.
yeah, and I really don't spend a lot of time watching other people. And as much as that might upset some people that want my attention, I feel like the more time I get sucked into there and doom scroll and whatever, I don't like it. I think it's quite toxic for the brain. Maybe we need to spend more time off there in the real world. And I just use Instagram for when I want to connect in to a bigger community that I can't reach in person. So if I'm suddenly wondering about, has anybody done this before? Or I wonder what the technique for this looks like when it looks good, then I might go on there to watch somebody else do something and pick it up, you know. But I'm not constantly on there thinking who's doing this better than me and whatever. I don't really care.
Yeah.
I'm just in my own lane and I'm focused, and I think that's why we succeed, because I'm not too bothered about what anyone else is doing. I care about my own genuine journey,
your growth,
and sharing that, and my growth, and sharing that with other people that want to learn from it, because I'm a teacher and that's what I do.
Yeah.
But we I was saying, like, there's, how Logan Paul, or is it Jake Paul? Which is the one that does the boxing? Is it
they
Jake
both
Paul?
did. I think Logan is the older one, I think. Oh no, Jake is the older one. Logan is the younger one.
See, I don't even know which one of them. This is what I'm saying. This is how little I follow it.
Jake is the one that fought with
Tyson.
Anthony Joshua.
Yeah. So Jake, yeah. So this guy, look at who he's got to fight. And I'm glad Anthony Joshua sat him on his ass, because he's come into the world of boxing, which is a respected discipline that's been going on for hundreds of years. And he's bought his way into there using social media. And then after a couple of years, anyone can get okay at boxing to compete. But how does he get the stage with Mike Tyson and Anthony Joshua? How does any average person get to do this without having millions of followers? So it's like social media is a kingmaker nowadays. It's like you can become a king or a queen simply by the amount of followers you have, and you can make a living off it. And I think a lot of people resent that when seemingly untalented or unhardworking people suddenly just come across fame for any old reason, like that Hawk Tour girl. Is that she just said something randomly on the street, and all of a sudden, I would say, you get me? So it's not just her though. There's so many. Everyone nowadays is a model, a life coach, or a public figure. But that's my worst. That's the worst one for me. When somebody puts public figure, I'm like, what do you mean? Public figure what? Because you have 100,000, 200,000, I don't know who you are. And then when you look at their page, there's nothing on there of substance. It's all just them posing. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not going to buy into supporting something that's purely shallow and aesthetic. There's no value in what you're offering, pictures or in videos of you, you know? It's you're basically offering up your personality on a plate and saying, does anyone want to buy my personality or my looks? And it's like, to an extent, you could do that if you're a comedian or something like this, or an actor. But these people aren't even doing that. So it's like social media has made it that a lot of people can pretend and fake their way through life, making a living off of it. And I don't know how it happens, but it's just, simps, other things like that, OnlyFans, like.
No, I get you. I think I love this. There's always different place of looking at things. I think with the Octour girl, I don't really get that. With the Jake Paul thing, sometimes with people, you have to respect the hustling a little bit as well. Like, how the hell does this guy get to go fight flipping Anthony Joshua? But again, it's probably just, as a regular person, who's decided, okay, I'm gonna follow this path, and one day I'm gonna fight my. So I respect his story in that way. Again, the thousands and hundreds of thousands of boxers don't get the same opportunity.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to use what you have to your advantage on an individual level. So I think with Jake Paul and his brother, to be able to, because he's not always the smartest person or the most intelligent person that becomes successful. A lot of the people that have the wealthiest people actually just use other intelligent people to run their businesses and run their companies and stuff. So,
but see, so
I used to be the same as well. I think this guy is like, blah, blah. But then sometimes I think, well, I rate you that you can actually push your hustle to get to that level and fight.
I agree with you to an extent. So I love that you always have that way of looking at things differently, because it makes sure that we're level when we think about stuff and we're not just hating. So like, on the one hand, he's been very resourceful and hustler. He's a hustler. Yeah. Because he's managed to get on the stage of Tyson and Joshua and other people. At the same time, it's almost a mockery of the discipline in terms of the other people that have gone the normal route, who haven't had the kind of followers he's had. Yeah. But that's the power of money. So your money talks, and who you know matters more than what you know. But there are a lot of people out here in the world that believe in meritocracy, which means that people who deserve the best opportunity should be given those opportunities because they deserve them and they worked for them. And I believe in that if somebody has put the hard work in and they're qualified, that they are the people that should get the opportunities, not just someone that has landed in something and knows someone that can get them in the back door. So it's kind of like, I think that's what people are reacting to. It's not necessarily that he wasn't necessarily ready as a boxer. If he was, fine, but he didn't go the traditional route of earning his place there. And that's what people don't like. So it's like, I think that's difficult for people to deal with. And that shows itself in another way. Is one of the things I was going to mention today, is that everybody says they're a coach now. So
that one.
This one winds me up a lot. Because, so look, this is not me boasting, but just for context, to reel off my accolades. I did a biology degree, so I went to university, paid the fees, and did 3 years of hard study in biology to learn about anatomy, genes, human cells, and the body and everything. And then I came out of that and I got my personal training qualification, strength and conditioning. Then I did my sports massage, the osteopathic diploma at London School of Osteopathy, cupping, acupuncture, mobility certifications, yoga certification. I was a monk for 6 months and then another 6 months. I went and lived all these things and educated myself and put money and time and effort, blood, sweat and tears, all of this,
and the training.
They put everything into this because it's what I want to do for my life, and I'm passionate to have the right to call myself a coach, because not only have I learned all of that, I've made a system out of it. I've replicated that in thousands of clients across the world and proven that my knowledge can create real results. And not only in those clients, I've done it in myself, and I operate at a very high level myself. So I feel entitled because of that to call myself a coach and knowledgeable and a real one in what I do. And all of the people in my industry or in my discipline, like calisthenics and everything else, they will testify I'm a real one. I'm one of the guys that knows what I'm doing. So then when I see people just coming online and saying, just because they decide to call themselves, I'm a calisthenics coach, just because you learnt a muscle up and a front lever, it's like, just because you're talented or hardworking and you managed to achieve 3 moves, now you're a calisthenics coach. You don't have the right to call yourself that without the education. It's deeper than that. So they are, again, it's like making a mockery out of all the hard work and science and effort that other people have put in to just call yourself something like that. And there's a big problem in this new generation. It comes with the entitlement. And when I say laziness, I don't mean they're completely lazy, but I mean they don't seem to want to put in the decades of work that it takes to become an expert. They just want to call themselves, and it's like fake it till you make it. This whole concept, I even saw a post on Instagram recently. This is where all the problems come from, Instagram.
Yeah.
Suggesting that the more audacity you have,
Yeah.
the more the universe will give it to you. So they're trying to say, oh, manifestation means the more audacity I have to suggest that I'm this, then it will just become. No, that's nonsense. You can't just say I'm this and it just happens.
Yeah,
That's taking it too far.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You don't have to put in the work to, you know, become what you say you
That's
want to
it.
be. Not just like, okay.
And then how I find that personally disrespectful to people that have. So you can't walk into a martial arts gym to a black belt or a professional boxer or Muay Thai fighter or anything and say, I'm one of you, because you'll get your ass handed to you immediately and you'll be shown that you're not. And even in calisthenics and lifting, you'll be shown by a real one that you're not. But there's so little real ones around that you can go amongst the general population and pretend, and they will just take you on your word as what you are. And that's what I'm saying. This fakeness and this, it is a real problem, because what it boils down to is then how does the general public ever know what a real one is when there's so many frauds out there disreputing the truth?
And also, I think it's just the fact that it can affect the people that are actually buying the services as well, because I see it all the time. Like, I mean, it's not their fault. Nearly qualified coaches, and they're doing all these sort of things that can just damage the client. So you need to spend a lot of time to
100%.
actually look after the people, because you're a body mechanic, and you have to make sure that they don't, you know, go away. The whole point of them coming to you is to be better. And if you're like a, you know, fake coach, as you say, you're not even qualified, because you still love that on IG as well. We just put the coach thing there. But then it's like, are you looking after the people that are actually going to be paying you? And this people don't know any better as well.
Yes.
So I'm fully on board with what you're saying. So it's not great.
You know, because like you say, we should always look at it from both sides. Somebody out there listening to this could say, you're being elitist. They're saying only the top people have a right to call themselves a coach. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there is a definitive way to become qualified and educated in something. And then there is a second process by which you integrate that knowledge into yourself and you practice it with people and you gain experience. It's just a natural way of the world, isn't it? Like if you want to be a surgeon, you've got to do that experience in the hospital before, where you're a trainee doctor, and before that you have to do the education. There's always a natural process to becoming an expert. Everyone wants to bypass that process and call themselves an expert without even having done it. I could half respect it if you'd have done all of that education and experience, but just done it in your room on Google. I could even half respect it and say you tried to research it. It's not necessarily the best way to learn because you can't check your own mistakes, but you tried. But if you haven't even tried and you're just calling yourself it, then you're just a fraud. And there's a lot of that going around. So I think I'm not trying to pick on the new generation as a unk. I've accepted it now. That's what I've accepted it.
What's it talking about? They don't listen.
There was a point, when I was young. I think maybe I was like 15, 16. I was just in a Tesco or something at the cashier, at the cashier's thing. And there was a lady there with a little daughter, and her daughter was jumping around, and I was trying to put some of my basket on the thing. And she said, "Oh, move out the way for the man." And I thought to myself, who's she talking about? Because I'm not a man. Okay. I'm like 15, you know what I mean? And then I never felt like an adult. And I don't know the point when I did feel like an adult.
Right.
But in the last 5 years, it's weird. I've been looking at uni students and I'm like, well, these guys are at uni. They look like children. They look like little kids. And these people are not little kids, they're adults because they're over 18. But I'm looking at them and like, this person's got a squeaky voice and spots on his face and he looks like a little teenager. But he's a 20-year-old. And now I know I'm an unk. Because now I know, when I look around, I know, so it's weird.
I don't be listening to, not don't be, but it's like, I think the good secret of being young is having that thing in the head. Because as I say, I think I told you last time, me running, it's like I always picture myself 10 years younger, 15 years younger. And that thing just keeps you young in the mind, young in the body. So all this unk stuff, I tell them, shut up. You call it unk? I'm not an unk. So, you know, that's the way I'm gonna.
Well, you haven't got these coming
Yeah, I
through
know,
yet. That's why these grey hairs, man.
yeah.
This-
I don't even get it yet. You probably get it more than I do.
I have. It's started,
Yeah.
bro. This is what I mean. Maybe that's why.
Yeah,
I've been looking in the mirror and I'm like, yeah, you know what? You have to accept it at this point. You're getting grace.
I was gonna ask you in terms of training. Would you say you've discovered anything new lately? You know how we're always trying to improve how we train and stuff. Is there something that you might want to touch on? Because again, the purpose of people watching this is to be able to say, "Oh, I learned this from Riki, and now I'm doing it, and it's doing amazing stuff for me."
You know what I mean? I could rant about lots of different types of exercises, especially mobility stuff that would make people feel completely different. But one thing, I go a little bit left field with this, I think is very underestimated is the breath work.
Right.
Is learning how to breathe.
Okay.
And because I learned about that in a spiritual way from yoga. So I didn't learn breath work from a somatic Western teaching, like Wim Hof.
Yeah.
I didn't learn it that way. I learned it through yoga and the spirituality of how our breath is involved with spirit and our energy. And how you breathe has massive effects on your internal system. The science is catching up to it. And I'll tell you something really interesting.
Yeah.
When you hum like this vibration and this humming, because it's internal, it increases the volume of nitric oxide in your lungs, because you know that's one of the gases in the air. So it's not just oxygen you take in. It's a multitude of gases. A very small 1% percentage is nitrous oxide. And that is what they give you when they want you to calm down in the hospital. When they put the gas mask, is nitrous oxide.
Yeah.
It's to get you to relax. When you hum, it increases the concentration of it in your lungs by 15 times.
Really?
So just by humming, you can calm yourself down and bring your vagal tone, your vagus nerve, into regulation. So look, you know, a lot of the things nowadays we need to learn in society is how to regulate ourselves, isn't it? How to control our emotions, like you said. Self-regulation or co-regulation with your partner or your friends. So breath work is so important for regulation internally, that it can calm you down, it can wake you up, it can boost your metabolism, it can make you hot or it can make you cold. The yogis used to experiment with this a lot. They have at least 15 different types of breath patterns that you can do, and they have different somatic effects. So one of them is called Kapalbhati. It means shining forehead technique. And that's basically manual hyperventilation. So it's, and this makes you sweat and it will make you hot. So it can warm you up for activity. Then Sitkari is cooling breath. It's like this. See this? You do that inside, then you suck the air in through that gap and it creates a cooling sensation on the body. But we do this naturally when we eat spicy food.
Yeah, pepper soup.
Pepper soup, exactly. I love pepper soup, bro. With the yam as well, pounded yam. So yeah, it helps you cool it helps you cool you down. So we actually do this subconsciously. We do that breath when we eat chili or hot pepper. We do the hyperventilation if you were thrown in a cold lake and you come out, right? You're doing it. And to go to sleep, for example, if you want to pacify your nervous system, you need to extend the exhalation as long as you can. And then there is actually 4 stages of breath. There's inhalation, holding, exhalation, and holding out with nothing in your lungs. So when you breathe in, your entire nervous system wakes up ready. In fact, it's almost like what brings you to life when you inhale. I'm inhaling life, I'm inhaling energy. Then you hold it. This is when you're training. When you hold the air in you, it's when you've got all your strength. Right?
Tension.
Then you push, you push out.
Yeah.
This is release of energy. It's release of life. So you do that when you're doing the rep to the end. And then there is a period of, you could call it silence or no breath, where there's no air in your body, but you're not taking the next breath yet.
Right.
And this one is the most important one in meditation.
Okay.
Because what you're trying to extend is that you want to take. So I've been in instances in the past, especially when I was a monk in India, where I've done 30 minutes yoga asana, and then I've sat down and done pranayama for 15 minutes as breathwork techniques. And you'll get to a point where your heart rate and your breathing slows down so much that my breathing will look like this. And then I'll just sit there for like a minute, not needing to take another breath.
Right.
Right? And then this slows down even more to the point where I don't even feel it going in my nose. My lungs are not inflating. It honestly feels like your throat is just going every 30 seconds.
Right.
Like this, just a little bit. And then it almost becomes like the air is diffusing in and out of your lungs freely without you having to pump it in and out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
And when you get into that state, it's like you're in a trance.
Right.
And that's when you can enter meditation more easily.
Okay.
So this breath is very interesting in terms of what it does. So when you're breathing, when you're anxious, you breathe very fast and you take lots of air in. But when you're calm, your exhalation gets longer. And when you're really calm, you have hardly any inhalation. It's mostly exhalation and no breathing.
That's interesting.
So when you're considering how we regulate emotions and other things, how we use the power of our breath in exercise, or how we use the power of our breath to disconnect and regulate, it's very powerful. So I would suggest to people that whether it's Wim Hof or yoga or whatever, it doesn't matter. But look at breath work and look at how you breathe when you're moving. Look at how you breathe when you're stressed. This is something that can help everyone in an instant. And when we're born, nobody gives you a manual for how to breathe,
of course,
how to look after your body, you know. So this is what we as teachers, teaching you how to stay healthy and looking after your muscles. But in a way, everyone that is an adult is a child when it comes to breathing, because they haven't learned how to systematically breathe. They just do it subconsciously. So that would be something I would definitely recommend. Is
I'll definitely take it on board myself. So when you talk about your breathing, when are you practicing this breathing? Are you doing it on like a daily basis, or do you do it consciously? Do you do it when you're on the move? Or
no, I used to do it a lot because it's a practice.
Right.
It's part of yoga, so it's something you would do after you've done the stretching. But nowadays, I don't do it as much as I should necessarily.
Okay.
There's a certain amount of it. When you've learned to do it, it just happens subconsciously. But there is some manual, purposeful breathing that we should all be doing every day, including myself. I should do it more. If I was to say what's ideal, then yeah, every single day.
Okay. It's
like one of those practices that helps clean our mind and clean our bodies, you know. The yogis used to say that the mind is like a racehorse, or like a monkey that just jumps around everywhere, restless. But the breath is like a bolt on the stable door. So like if you have a restless animal, and is contained, what's containing it is the breath.
Right.
So breath helps to not just regulate our emotions and our hormones, it helps to still our mind, because it's rhythmic, you know, and it's being produced from internally. If you focus on that, it can help you into meditation. Basically, it's a very good gateway into meditation.
Okay.
And to try to meditate without it for beginners, I would suggest is almost impossible. Because if you say to someone, have you tried meditation? They'll be like, yes. But they don't understand that just sitting down and trying to clear your thoughts is not meditation. That's not how you do it. It doesn't get you into the state where you can be thoughtless. Like you have to get your body into a state where you can sit still without it feeling uncomfortable. And that's the purpose of the stretching. So you can take a yogic posture. then when you're in these postures, your joints are all touching the ground in a geometric shape that makes it easy for you to sit upright without any stress on your body. Then you're just kind of sitting there relaxed. And then it's just the outside world you have to stop your distractions from, not your own body shifting and shuffling. So then the outside world, how you remove your attention from that is by bringing your attention to your breath, which is only happening within you. It's not happening outside. And because it's rhythmic, you can do that. And the nature of that, once it progresses, is it will take you further and further into a place where the material world begins to dissolve and your own concept of your body will start to dissolve. So when you close your eyes, you'll feel like you don't have a body. If we do it now, I can still feel my hands, and my hands are on my legs, and I can feel that, and I can feel this couch, and all of that goes away, melts.
Right.
Until you're sort of suspended in nothing.
Like deep meditation or something.
That's it. So then it lulls you like a lullaby into it. But it's a practice, because you have to decide, I'm going to do this, then this, and this. And you follow it. It's almost like following a map step by step. And suddenly you find yourself going into meditation. But if you just sit down and say, right, I'm going to meditate and just do this with your fingers, it's not going nowhere. Until you've learned how to get into meditation and what it feels like being in meditation, and then getting into a trance, then I think after enough experience and time, you can get there quicker without having to do so much of the ritual or the routine. But it is rituals and routines, basically.
It's like with everything, isn't it? When you're first doing it, it takes a while. Then after a while, it's like you can get into it much quicker as well. It's
like it could be when you're driving or riding somewhere. Like you want to go somewhere, you have to look at the maps and follow it. And then after some time, you just do it on autopilot. You could be thinking of something else and still get there, So
girls doing their makeup and driving. I don't see that all the time.
Really?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Do makeup and because first time you're sweating when you're learning to drive, and then next thing it's like autopilot. You don't even think about the next left.
But makeup when you're driving, that's crazy. That's so dangerous.
Girls just doing that. That's
so dangerous.
I'm not gonna call out my sister. I think I must have seen her doing it. In terms of your training, before we wrap up a little bit, is there something that you're working on specifically at the moment, or is there, and also after you tell me that, please do tell me how people can find you as well.
I just, remember when I did that Muay Thai fight a few months ago, I dropped to 69 kilos from 78. So it's like 9 kilos. So now I'm pleased to report I'm back to 76.
Oh, wow. That's really good. Compared to when I saw you last time.
Same body fat level.
Okay.
So I'm doing good. Well, probably a slightly bit more body fat because you put on some weight, but like I think I'm about 12.5% is what I measured the other day on the machine. 12.5% body fat. So still visible abs and everything. When I got down to 69, I think I was more like 9%. But that's to be in fighting condition for a professional Muay Thai fight. So yeah, I'm back to 76. So a little bit more focus on building a bit more muscle back, because I want to get back to a certain level of strength that I knew I had. And then I'll just be doing more cardio to keep up with the sparring and stuff. But I'm feeling good, yeah. Okay. It's mostly just enjoying my training. So, and you guys can find me on Instagram, Rick's Official, Rick's.official, or my website is calisthenics.pro.co.uk. That's where I put all my workshops and classes that I teach, and that's it really.
Okay. Thanks for coming again. Every time you come, I feel like I learn new stuff from you. Even with the breathing thing, I think I'm going to look into that and see how...
You can do some sometime.
Oh, that'd be great. But I don't know if I do. I might just get even stronger and be squatting 240. Yeah. But yeah, there's just so many elements. It's like, I always think about it. The more the more you know as a professional, the more you realize you don't know, because there's always so much new things to learn, and it's always humbles me because I've been doing this for over 20 years, and then it's like you learn something new and you learn something new. So again, yeah, thanks for coming down. It's great to speak to you again and learn all this new stuff, and we get our stuff in, and then like training, and perhaps get you back again at some point in the future if you have something new you want to talk to us about. Yeah.
Come on, bro. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, brother. You too. Thank you.